You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
This is episode 137 of Retired Racehorse Radio on the Horse Radio Network, part of Equine Network. Brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products, Cashel Company, Zero Proof, and Ride TV. Retired Racehorse Radio is your guide to the adoption, care, and training of the retired racehorse. Brought to you in cooperation with the Retired Racehorse Project and New Vocation's Racehorse Adoption Program.
You're listening to the one before the 2024 Thoroughbred Makeover. We're about to celebrate all things Thoroughbred for the next week. And to kickstart, we have our final panel with our Making the Makeover riders as they gear up for the competition at the Kentucky Horse Park. And while we might be chatting OTTBS, we're also going to shed some love and light on our standardbred friends with New Vocation's Bridget Hollern as she brings us a training tip and our adoptable horse of the week. Stay tuned.
And they're off on Retired Racehorse Radio, the podcast that is your guide to the adoption, care, and training of the retired racehorse.
This is Joy Orr in Detroit, Michigan.
And this is Kristen Kovach-Bentley in Jamestown, New York, and you're listening to Retired Racehorse Radio.
Kristen, I'm so excited because by the time this episode drops, we're hanging out in person.
Having a grand time, careening around in a golf cart, being unhinged. It's going to be
being
amazing.
Unhinged, you might be slightly mean to me, but that's okay.
No,
we'll still
I'm
be
not.
friends.
I am trying really hard to not.
I like that you're manifesting that.
I have looked at my schedule for the week and I'm like, oh no, I won't be mean to you. I will just be waving as I careen off somewhere else.
You know what? That's an improvement. You're getting better each year.
You know what I'm really looking forward to, though, is that I just get to sit here and talk to you for the next 2 hours because I kind of needed that because it's been a real chaotic week trying to get everything done for the makeover. You know what else I'm really excited about? We haven't really announced this, but the finale will be commentated. Is that a word? Finale will be narrated by you and me. We are the finale announcers this year. So it's just going to be a really fun 12-ish hour long, not quite that long, hopefully. Maybe 8 hours, 8-hour long episode. We're going to have a grand time. There is no live stream this year, which is sad, but also is good because then I don't have to actually remember to look at a camera and, and
I don't have to look as cute for a camera.
You always look cute. I'm not worried.
Well, that's not right now. But anyway.
Well, again, that's why we don't do a video podcast, right? So I can sit here in my sweatshirt, and be a hot mess and it's fine. But either way, if you are going to the Thoroughbred Makeover and you are at the covered arena in finale day, enjoy our 8-hour long podcast as we, we'll introduce every horse as it comes in the ring, but then we're going to have a lot of really fun interviews with some sponsors and folks in the racing industry. Yeah. It's like basically a day of chit chat. So if
it's like a full day of podcasting.
Pretty much. Yeah. We're going to have a super good time. So I'm super flattered that they asked us. It's just, it's great. Retired Racehorse
Tell me that
takeover.
You made it without telling me that you made it.
Right.
Like I'm like, we're there, dang it. Like I told you, we were going to go past a year. I told you, Glenn.
Yeah. And now look, we're getting gigs sort of. It's
kind of,
it's fine.
I know.
We're going to be very tired, but
we're going to be very tired, but then we're going to party. So it'll be good. So
basically
speaking
like Radiothon, just us.
That is true. So speaking of party, there's lots of events. If you're listening to this, it is kind of the second day of preliminary. So if you're hanging out to check things, make sure to follow us on social media too. That's important. I'll be mostly the one catching things there, but you'll get to see some of the antics. We'll make sure you see Making the Makeover rider so you can put a face to the name and all that good stuff. And if you're going to be at the park, we're also going to be at the Barrels and Brews. We'll talk more about that in the episode. And there's some other events. There's opportunities to get tickets to the after party on Friday. If you're going to Keeneland Friday morning at 7 a.m., Amplify is doing their event with the donuts and coffee to learn more about what they do and Keeneland itself. There's lots of fun things. And New Vocations is going to be having an open house too. Bridget will tell us all about that. So it's going to be a really fun week, Kristen. I can't wait.
Yeah. Basically a thoroughbred festival. I mean, it always is in central Kentucky, but this week in particular is it's top notch. Yeah.
So I don't think we need to get much more into it because the whole episode's going to be about it. But before we dive in deeper, you're going to hear from our premier sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products.
Frequently asked questions brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. Question. My friend was telling me that supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids decreased the level of inflammation in horses with arthritis. Is this true? Answer. Yes. There have been several peer-reviewed studies that have shown that supplementation with the omega-3 fatty acids known as EPA and DHA will help support healthy levels of inflammation in the joints. The best source of EPA and DHA is fish oil. We often recommend adding a high-quality omega-3 fatty acid supplement, such as Kentucky Performance products, contribute to the diet of horses who struggle with joint pain and stiffness. A KPP customer named Sarah recently posted a review sharing her experience with Contribute. She wrote, I recently swapped my Western dressage and cow horses over to the Joint Armor and Contribute. Astonishing results! My horses are moving beautifully with more impulsion and suspension in their gaits. You can learn more about Contribute and omega-3 fatty acids EPA and DHA at kppusa.com. Got questions about your feeding program? We can help. Email Karen at questions@kppusa.com or call us at 859-873-2974.
Joy, this, as much like as stressed as I am because it's like 4 days before the makeover when we're recording this and I have 6 million things to do. I also love our last episode that we do before the makeover because we get all of our Making the Makeover trainers on together and it's a fun little family, session to get everybody pumped up and also like retrospective and introspective and looking back at the journey so far. So super excited to have with us all 3 of them. We have Chris Bennings, Dana Johnson, and Jody Bush. So welcome back to the show, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, I was waiting for Jody too. That was almost going to be super well timed. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys are so well trained.
Jody was doing the responsible thing of being
Jody was
muted.
being responsible, was muted. But either
Hi,
way,
Jody.
Very
Hello.
good, guys. Hey, Jody. Very well coordinated. We've clearly trained you well over the past 6 or so
That
months.
was a time zone issue.
Yeah, Jody, that's right. Jody's a time zone behind. So, all right, folks, we are a week out from the makeover. So 2 questions. What are you the most excited about? And what are you the most anxious about? And I'm going to start with Jody.
I'm the most excited to just get to the makeover because it's super duper fun and I want to see a bunch of people that I haven't seen since the last time I was there. And I'm most unexcited for the traveling, which for me is actually going to involve an airplane this time.
Whoa.
And the horse is getting on the trailer on Friday. I'm getting on an airplane on Sunday and hopefully arrive just ahead of the horse enough to get everything sorted and ready for her when she gets there.
Interesting.
All right. That's a little different from the last time we chatted.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, plans changing. Now you're flying. Very exciting. So cool. All right. I like that you said unexcited and not anxious.
Yes.
Makes it feel like Jody doesn't get anxious, man. She just is cool, calm, and collected the whole way.
I just don't like going through customs, but
fair.
We'll make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. I've only done it when I'm like on vacation. I've never done it for like a horse show. So
I know. I'm curious of like,
to the stress.
Do you need to put all of your horse things on the trailer so customs like doesn't slow you? Like they're going to look at your stuff like, what's this? It's a hoof pick. What's this? It's horse treats. What's this? It's like all kinds of medications in your emergency kit.
Yeah, pretty well everything's going to go with the horse in the horse trailer. Although, like, pro tip, because I have had to fly with my saddle, a Western saddle fits just perfectly in a hockey goalie bag. And then you can put sports equipment on the plane.
Okay. Because I was curious if they like saw all your leather goods that every horse person has. And they're like, this person.
Or like the mystery bottles of substances in your trailer rolling around that you didn't think about.
Or the amount of vet wrap you're probably carrying.
Yeah.
This lady's going to kidnap someone. Yeah.
That would be good at, I'd end up on like some reality TV show, I'm sure, with the border guard guys.
So many
border crossings gone wrong. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh boy. All right. Well, good luck. Happy travels. Hopefully it is stress-free. All right, Dana, how about you? Most excited and least excited or anxious?
I think most excited to just get there and experience it because this is my first time. So I'm not sure what to expect. So just like anxious, excited. Just the whole thing. Least excited is probably the hauling, just because I'm also driving down by myself, so I don't like traveling alone, but it's okay.
Yeah, I've thought about that now since my husband shows with me. I'm like, man, I never drive my trailer anywhere by myself anymore. So like I used to all the time, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I don't do that anymore. Like I don't know what I would do, you know?
I need like an emotional, I just go through a list of different people to call and talk to because I need like an emotional support person to just talk to me while I'm driving.
What a good way to like stay on top of relationships though, honestly.
Right?
Yeah, honestly, I did that to the makeover last year. I called like a few coworkers just to like, we're not going to get much chance to chat this week, so let's chat now, you know? Like, and it was actually nice. Yeah. Yeah, very soothing for everybody, I think, just to get some stress out. So yeah, that's a good way to do it. I like that. Nice. All right, Chris, how about you?
What was the question? I was worried Jody's going to end up locked up and abroad.
Well, I mean, that's a valid worry. So I'm just imagining Chris like running to her rescue, like all the way.
Oh, Jody, I got you. Like vet wrap, bits, spurs. Like I'll get you out of jail. You're good.
How Chris gets arrested. It is, what are you most excited about at the makeover? And what are you least excited about, unexcited about, or anxious about, including Jody's travel plans?
Well, that raised my level a bit. Jody, I'm with you. Most excited. There's so many wonderful people that come year after year, and it's like a family, and to get to see people again, and they bring different horses, and everybody gets really nervous, and then they show up, and it's like, oh, we're here. We're in a safe spot of unbroke horses that might kill us all, and it's a ton of fun. But everyone's there for in a good spirit, and they're just happy to be there. And we've just done it year after year after year, and there's so many wonderful people. I'm just really excited to see.
Love it. What are you not looking forward to, or what has you anxious other than Jody?
Oh, showing in public. Yeah.
Do you prefer to do your horse showing in private?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really good in private. Like I win here all the time.
It's true. I'm a really good rider at home, I swear, Yeah, I feel that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? The nervous part is just, getting there and not having the wheels fall off, which if you've been following the podcast, you know that my wheels are barely attached.
Yeah, I mean, in multiple ways, but yes, yeah, for sure. I know you.
It's one of the things we love about you, Chris.
Yeah.
I like as that comment came out, like everyone muted themselves. Like I just saw mute.
Yeah, so we can, all get our giggles out without embarrassing you.
There's more to come.
Well, knowing that there's lots of excitement. I mean, I love the common theme of just excited to see people, excited to get there. Not maybe excited for driving, but that's okay. Like overall, like how prepared are you feeling, and how do you feel about your horse's overall preparedness? And I will start with Dana on this one.
I think that we are as prepared as we're gonna be.
I think it's a great answer.
There is nothing changing between now and next Monday when we get to the Kentucky Horse Park. So yeah, he's made some really, really great strides this summer. Like Buckeye from the beginning of show season this summer to Buckeye at the end of show season, totally different horse. I think it'll be interesting because this last show we went to was the first time we really had it was a small group, but a group of thoroughbreds together, like in our classes and on the showgrounds and stuff. And they definitely were feeding off each other's energy, and you could see. So I'm, a little interested to see how it is when there's lots and lots,
hundreds of them. Yeah.
Hundreds of young thoroughbreds, so I'm interested to see how that impacts him, or, if he's going to turn into ADD Buckeye and just can't focus. But yeah, I think we're as ready as we're going to be.
I love it. And I also I appreciate that, you're not going to cram. I mean, first of all, you have 4 days, so you're not going to cram anyway. But yeah, realistically, if you don't know it in September, you're probably not going to know it in October either. So yes, ride the horse you got and enjoy it. Love
Yep.
that.
Yep.
Great attitude.
100%. Wonderful. Chris, what about you? How prepared are you and how do you feel like your horse is prepared?
0 out of 10.
Okay.
We kind of talked about it like throughout the way, and he's been doing really well. And then I thought, well, this last month, I'm going to really, get into it. And then we had the weather and, Helene, she's got a lovely name, lots of rain. We've had drought all summer, lots of rain, all that kind of stuff. So like the weather hasn't been really conducive to the plan that I had, that I was going to, take him a bunch of places and go to the park and do this kind of stuff. So we've been doing a lot of tree cleanup and stuff like that. But at this point, you kind of just take a deep breath and say, this is what I have. Let's just go have a good time. And if what I've done through the year pays off, great. If not, we're still going to have fun. It's just, I don't know. No, I'm not as prepared as I'd like to be, but I'm still going to have fun. I always do.
Healthy. Yeah. I think like that's a really good mindset to have between you and Dana and Jody. I'm curious of your answer too. I'm going to hit you in just a second. But I think like Kristen's point, a lot of people get over competitive or want to show up perfect. And so they cram their horse and actually create more of a stressful situation before getting to the makeover and forget to just enjoy like this final stretch of the journey. Like it's just one part of a bigger story at the end of the day. So I think both of you have really good answers there. Jody, not to create any bias to your answer, everything will be okay, even if you're saying you're cramming.
Well, I mean, we did just a minute ago practice our freestyle routine. So we're a little bit cramming, but I would say we're prepared enough that we shouldn't, be in danger. But as far as preparation, compared to my previous 2 trips to the makeover, this horse is probably the least prepared. But the flip side of that is she's also kind of the nicest and easiest of the 3. So I think, yeah, it's just, we're going to have a good time. It's not going to be earth-shattering performances by any stretch, but it's going to be fun. And I think the horse is she's prepared enough that it's not going to unduly stress her. I think she'll have a good time too.
I do think you get a little bit of a free pass if you're doing freestyle. Like you have to practice the routine some. And I don't think that counts as cramming. I think that's like, that's general preparedness. Because you don't want to go in there and like wing it for 5 minutes. Like you have to have some semblance of a plan. So
we have a plan. Pass. And Kristen, you got to know it's because you might be the only person there that knows what we're doing. Because it's kind of a ranch roping.
Oh,
we're going to show some ranch roping skills.
Nice. I will FaceTime my husband because that is absolutely his favorite class is the ranch roping. Yeah, at horse shows, but like in general, like he just is always practicing his roping. So he'll be very excited to see other thoroughbreds doing the thing. I love that.
Nice.
Very cool. And you are just down to 1 horse now. Is that correct?
We are down to 1. Yeah. And the one who kind of came in late. So she'll only have like 4-ish months because she was the one we had to go to the bullpen to pull out. So she's legitimately behind. It's not anything that she did. In fact, if we'd started with her in December, I can't imagine. She's really a sweet, easy horse to be around.
I love that. So that's going to segue really interestingly into this question that, Joy, I think this is your question, but I'm going to steal it and ask it anyway.
Go for it.
So knowing like, you have the ability now to look back at the journey. So knowing what you know today about the horse that you have, would you choose this horse again for the makeover? And there's no right or wrong answer. Like no one is offended if you're like, no, absolutely not. I would choose something different. So I'm going to flip it right back to Jody.
So of the 5 kind of prospects that we had, this is the one we should have picked. And it was the last one we picked. And her name is No Surprise. And her owner keeps putting his little elbow in my ribs because I said, I don't want No Surprise. She's too big. She's too gangly. She's not going to do the thing. I want these other ones. And who are we left with? no surprise. And he says, well, that's no surprise.
Oh, that's funny.
I think that's like the
giving me a
cutest
hard
little
time.
story. I'm sorry. I got really emotional about it for some reason.
I really
Yeah.
want to meet the owner. I saw you post about him on your Good Start page, and I'm really
Oh, he'll
interested
be
to meet
there.
this guy. Yeah.
He's driving the truck,
Oh, good for him. I love that.
whistling all the way with snacks. Like he's a great guy. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, very excited to meet him. Love that.
What a
Yeah, and
fun
that's
story.
such an interesting answer too. You know, like yeah, obviously you couldn't see that at the time, but that is funny that you got exactly the horse you needed.
Yeah.
No
Interesting.
surprise.
Yeah.
It's just like a fun pun. I'm sorry. I'm like really into that for some reason.
Joy, I think she's in the marketplace, so if you would also like no surprise, I did see her
I could
listed
use
there.
some no surprises in the near future.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
I love it.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
can ride her down there. She's lovely.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Joy, we'll sign you up. You can get a wristband and then you can ride all the horses.
Yay.
Not quite the intent of the wristband, but we're gonna abuse it. It'll be fine. Chris, how about you? If you could go back and do this again, would you do this with the same horse?
Again, not fair. You put me behind Jody, and she always has the most wonderful stories, and she's so eloquent and Canadian, and I just adore her. But anyway, back to me. Yeah, he was the horse I picked, and I wish that I would have put more effort in earlier and had a better plan. I'm going to throw myself under the bus, and I actually think I did the horse a bit of a disservice in focusing on the freestyle and the idea that I wanted and not so much his training. And I feel like that set me back a bit. But yeah, I'd pick this horse 1,000 times over again. Like he's such a cool horse. And I think, you know, the freestyle, the dressage, I think he'd be a great jumper. I've jumped him a couple of times and he's just unbelievable. But yeah, back to Jody.
Well, I mean, that's the true horseman's answer, right? Like if there's something amiss, it's never the horse's fault. It's always something that we've done. So, you know.
Well, I beg to differ. I've lost many years in a row and I didn't like those horses. I like this one.
Okay. Well, you know, for some of us, I was about to be like, that's a message we all need to hear. Well, okay.
Yeah. I've shown up with a couple of train wrecks before. Don't believe me.
Yeah. And we've definitely heard that too of, you know, when picking horses, not every horse is equipped to go to the makeover. Like the timeline is just not what they need. And that's okay too.
Yeah. That doesn't mean that the makeover is a bad thing. It just means it's not, and like it does not profess to be, you know, the show for every horse. So yeah, that's just part of being the horseman, right? Is, you know, knowing how to pick a horse that you think might make it, and then also, you know, knowing when it's not going to work and to pull the plug. So yeah, respect. All right, Dana, how about you? If you, and we're really interested in your perspective as a first timer. So, and I know it's a little tough because you haven't been to the makeover yet, so you don't 100% know what to expect, but if you could do it all again, would you choose this horse to do it with?
So 1000% yes. Only because obviously I don't know how he's going to perform once we get to the makeover or how he's going to take it all. But I've followed him like through his racing career or lack of racing career and loved him as a yearling. So yeah, I really, really just like him as a whole. And he has not disappointed me at all. He's been, he just really wants to please. And even when we do have our little moments, it's like a baby brain thing. I'm like, I can't blame you. You're a baby and you're a green thoroughbred. So, yeah, I still would choose him again.
Love that. Yeah, you've had such a relationship with him, you know, like longer than this past 10 months. So that makes sense. I love that.
I love it. Well, I feel like I'm going to know some of the answers to this next question, but I think it's still a good one. And Chris, I'll start with you. How has the year shaped up to what you envisioned when you first applied? So maybe you had your horse picked out, maybe you didn't, but the way it's going, I feel like you answered it a little bit.
For me this year, it was very transitional. I've done the makeover, I don't even know how many years, and it's been like a consuming my thought process and life and training techniques and all that kind of stuff. And this year I got introduced to some new clients and things. So I kind of bridged out a little bit, believe it or not. If we go back to some previous podcasts, I'm actually helping an eventer, which is terrifying to me. If you go back, she's doing very well. And they're like leading the country or something. I don't follow points or whatever, but it's a horse I sold that we got in, and we walk horses and I want to throw up and she thinks it's fun. So that's kept me busy other than the hunter jumper stuff. And then I've actually dabbled in the quarter horse circuit. I have this wonderful farm in Tennessee that brings me down. So I've gotten to learn a lot in my training, just as an individual. So I've been a little bit behind with training my own horses, and being present on the farm. And then we also do the breeding, and I've been trying to really promote, Prince in New York, who I showed a couple years ago. So we have the foaling and the extra training. So I'm a little bit scatterbrained. I mean, you wouldn't think it talking to me, but I'm a bit all over the place.
But, I think it's really cool that you mentioned, even if it is more transitional, like you said, like you're getting all these new tools for your tool belt. And I'm sure you're going to be applying to do this again next year, because I know your goal is to be Mr. Makeover. I'm curious how
it's going to happen.
Oh, excellent. I got to get your sash. I'm curious how this year, the things you've learned and picked up will transition over into next year for you too. I think this is a really cool, 2-year project almost of all the things you've been collecting.
I think if you're going to do well at the makeover, you have to really put yourself 100% into it. And it's not how great your training is, but it's the amount of time that you put into it. And that's where I feel like I've kind of done the horse that I have this year a disservice. There was, a lot of work that needed to be done and taking care of the farm. And he was kind of on the back burner, where the previous years, my schedule was a little bit easier and I could take him with me when I went places and things like that. So I feel like if you're really going to do it and do well, I needed to be more invested than I was this year. I was just a bit all over the place trying to, grab a bunch of straws and things like that. And the nice thing is in doing the makeover enough, it doesn't bother me that this isn't the one and only moment. It is a really cool horse, and I really look forward to developing him and, finding him his next person. So while I'm a little disappointed that I'm not peaking, next week where I want to be, this year, I really don't care, because it's I've got a good horse and I look forward to the next step. And that's more exciting, for me, really.
I love it. That's a really good perspective. And I think good things to share. And especially for anyone who's considering doing it, just a time commitment that it takes. Jody, how about you? How has this, been going from what you envisioned from the beginning of the year?
Well, I hate to be a bit of a bummer on the podcast, but Anne and I started with the idea that we would have 2 horses each. Anne is my assistant. And as it turned out, and we had 5 prospects. And as it turned out, we're bringing 1 team horse, because only 1 out of those 5 ended up being sound. So it's that's been a very sort of frustrating bunch of adventures in veterinary medicine that, I wish we didn't have to have that happen. But having said that, I think, at least we ended up with a horse, and we're going to come down and have fun, and she's going to be good. She may not be stupendous, but she's going to be good. She's going to be happy. Everyone's going to have fun. So wish we'd started with the sound one at the beginning, and maybe we were a little over ambitious in trying to get a bunch of horses going. Maybe we should have vet checked the horses before we started. I'm not sure. It makes me think about the next time I pick a horse. I'll probably do a lameness evaluation, like a thorough lameness evaluation, before I even start the training, because as Chris said, you got to put the time in. And if your horse can't handle, fairly vigorous training over 9 months, it's just not going to work for them.
That is interesting. And I've thought about, your journey in particular a lot, because I was like, I don't think this is even one of the horses that was originally in the string, and I think like if someone's listening to this and they're like, oh my God, like clearly thoroughbreds can't hold up to it. Like I do think you just got kind of a run of bad luck. I don't think like you're not bad at choosing horses and you're not running them into the ground, and thoroughbreds generally are not like inherently unsound. I think you just had a real crap year as far as like the draw goes. But yeah, it does suck. I've been thinking about you guys.
Yeah, like I think the reality is these horses have worked in their lives, and so maybe there's a slightly greater tendency for an off-track thoroughbred to have some sort of physical ailment. But I think you're right. Like thinking about all the thoroughbreds I've been around in my life, it was quite a run of bad luck that we just kind of ended up with these horses that that weren't going to be able to do it. So yeah.
I think it's an important part of the story to tell too, because Kristen and I have said it several times on the show. It's easy to romanticize the makeover, but there's realities to it as well. And we always appreciate hearing all sides of it and being able to share that with listeners, because that's just horses. Like, how many names do you have of, I could pick any other hobby, and this is the one I do that both gives me stress relief and stress at the same time.
Well, the other thing, I don't want to hijack your podcast, but I'm gonna. Jody had a great point. Like, I don't think people understand how difficult the makeover is. Like, you pick a horse, it might be over the phone, in a picture, online, someone tells you about it. Then you have to rehab it. And then you have to retrain its PTSD from whatever it already knows, and then get it ready to present itself at the horse park. A couple of weeks ago, I went and helped a client, and she drove up from Florida, and they did the Mustang makeover. And I was absolutely floored at how amazing it was. But at the same point, when I compared it, they're taking feral horses and bringing them to the horse park to do their thing. And then I thought how difficult it is with thoroughbreds. Like, yes, they're broke, but the only thing they know is 100% the opposite of what every discipline out there wants them to do. And some have had good experiences, some have had bad. So, it's a soundness issue. It's a mental soundness issue. And it, to come together in, less than, 12 months, it's incredible. So, anybody that makes it there, like, 2 thumbs up, like, you've gotten there. It's incredible. I'm going to mute myself.
No, that was really well. I want to applaud you, but it wouldn't be appropriate for the podcast. Like, I don't think listeners would like me to make that sound in the mic. But that's exactly what I would be doing for you right now.
Air applaud.
But that's exactly how it is. It's not for the faint of heart, for sure. And anything can change at any moment. But that's just the realities of it too. Dana, how about you? I know you had some visions for this. How has this met your expectations or taught you along the way?
So I still feel like I need to, I'm still very optimistic and probably looking at it like a little bit glamorized, because I haven't been there and seen it yet. So I don't know. I still feel like I don't really know what I'll do differently to get there and experience it. I feel like in general, we're as prepared as we're gonna be, but there's definitely been some ups and downs that you just don't expect. Like today, I had my farrier very last minute putting a shoe back on because Buckeye decided that he was, just done with that shoe apparently. So, I mean, there's always the little hiccups, but I do feel like I just in general with life and I just kind of take everything as just take it as it comes and go with the flow and don't get too stressed out. And like it is what it is, and we're going to show up and do what we can do. And even if that's just walking in the ring and patting him and saying, good boy, we made it here. Like, I'm going to call that a win. So
I've always respected that about you because, like I have the added benefit that I've showed with you in person. And like your attitude is exactly the same on the days that like it was a little bit of a wreck and it didn't go to plan. And the days that you were like, that was really, really cool. And that was a huge step. Like your attitude is the same every time, which I think is really great. Like it's just the right approach of it's going to be what it's going to be. And you're not going to get too fussed about it. And everything is going to be great. So you're fun to show with is what I'm saying.
Oh, well, you're really fun to show with too. So
I'm completely unhinged, but all right. Well, here is one last question for everybody. And Dane, I think you kind of alluded to this already, so I'm going to start with you. This episode is going to come out on the 10th. So chances are by the time this episode drops, some of you may be completely done showing by the time that you're listening back to this. So for the time capsule, are you going to count as a win for the week?
We're going to count it a win that we make it to the horse park, we enter the arena, and that we move in some type of fashion that is the pattern that we've been practicing and the obstacles in the ranch trail. Just him going and trying is all I need. And we're going to call that a win.
Love it. And you'll have the same attitude no matter how it goes, which I love.
Well, thank you.
Good. All right. Well, now it's recorded for posterity. All right, Jody, how about you? What is a win for the week?
Well, a basic win is to arrive and no humans and horses are injured and we eat some really awesome barbecue. But an especially good win would be that I'm able to do at least a little teeny bit of liberty in the freestyle without the horse running away. And we'll put that in the time capsule and we'll either laugh about it when she does, or we'll be very happy when she doesn't.
Love it. I think she's going to be great. Yours are always so cool to watch. So I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it for the record. She's going to be awesome. And Chris, what is your win for the week? Or what will
Jody, I'm going to take you to Red State Barbecue. You'll have really good barbecue. In my experience, there's always been impromptu Liberty horses around the horse park.
True.
And a win for me is just going and doing, 50% of what you think you're going to do. So if I can, do my test and the horse has a good time and just accepts all the nuances of the horse park, that for me is like really cool. Just kind of, I want to enjoy it and I want him to enjoy it and just not have a meltdown, make a fool of ourselves. Well, just him, really. I mean, I'll make a fool of myself, but that's what I do anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. That's part of the makeover.
You guys are like, you're planning on that. That's what the cakes are for.
Well,
both of you were laughing. That's not fair.
Well, our happy little Make the Makeover family, it has been a really, really fun season with all of you. We're really looking forward to seeing you all in person next week. And of course, Joy, are we gonna what do we have planned for the makeover? We getting together?
We are. We will be at the Barrels and Brew event on Thursday, October 10th, just outside the main arena over there. I believe I got to double check the time, Kristen, because I feel like it's
5:30. Well, I think we're marketing it that it starts at 5. The beer truck will be there at 5, and the beer truck, I think we're actually going to park it right in the building. We're like driving it right in the side.
Oh, perfect.
But either way, that same side of the building that we were at last year, for anybody who was there last year, we will be there. Hopefully some of our Make the Makeover contestants can come too, because you guys are super famous now and everyone wants to meet you. But that will be our designated meeting point. I might be running in and out as is usual, but we are looking forward to seeing everybody there. So for our Make the Makeover trainers, best of luck, safe travels, and we will see you soon in Kentucky.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Cashel has been crafting top-notch products since 1986, designed to make your ride safer, more convenient, and downright enjoyable. From the Crusader fly mask, the ultimate fly mask, trusted by riders nationwide, to the blanket top performance felt pad with pressed felt with merino fleece. It's like a spa day for your horse's back. To the beautiful beaded halters, adjustable, durable, and gorgeous. Visit CashelCompany.com today and gear up for the ride of a lifetime. Cashel, where quality meets the saddle.
Do you love a good drink and wish you could share that joy with your four-legged friends? Well, now you can with Zero Proof Horse Treats. That's right, Zero Proof Horse Treats are the only horse treats on the market flavored like cocktails. With flavors like Old Fashioned, Mint Julep, Apple Martini, and the newest flavor, Carrot Cosmo, your horse will be enjoying the finer things in life just like you do. And get this, these treats are made from all natural, limited ingredients like distiller grains, oats, alfalfa, and just a touch of molasses. All ingredients are proudly grown in Kentucky, and they're manufactured by the same mill that has produced feed for 15 of the last 20 Kentucky Derby winners. How cool is that? These treats have less sugar than you think, with the NSC comparable to a controllable starch feed. Plus, they're small and won't crumble in your pocket, making them perfect for training, rewards, carrot stretches, and more. And if you use the coupon code RETIRED, you'll get a free shipping and free gift at the website at zeroproofhorsetreats.com. That's zeroproofhorsetreats.com. Use coupon code RETIRED. Well, Kristen, I know with the makeover coming, there's several things that are on people's minds, not just about competition, but also about getting a new horse. And while there's also the marketplace going through RRP, there's another great place to get a horse, one of our favorite places that we tempt you with every single episode. And that is New Vocation's Racehorse Adoption Program. And today we have Bridget Hollern joining us. Welcome back, Bridget.
Hi.
Super excited. We're going to see you in person in a week.
Yes.
This episode comes out on the second day of preliminary competitions. We'll already have been hanging out by the time this hits the airwaves.
Yes, I will be done with my first discipline and getting prepared for my second.
Exciting. So excited.
Does this not make us feel a little bit like fortune tellers? Like, I feel very cool right now.
Yeah, we're seeing the future.
The future. We're all hanging out with a celebratory drink for Bridget.
Yes, very much that. Yes, love it.
Well, Bridget, I know we're getting ready for all things thoroughbred as this episode is dropping, but we don't want to forget our standees too, because we love them here. Team Wes representing so well for everybody.
It's just a podcast about Wes.
Yeah. So for all our other standardbred lovers and those interested in learning more, we wanted to ask you some questions about the standardbred side. So Kristen, I'll tee it up for you there.
Yeah. So Bridget, I come from a little bit of a draft driving background. That's not like my only background, but I've had a lot of time spent sitting on the driver's bench. And with draft horses, we teach them a few additional voice aids just to, help us out, especially if you've more than one. So you're not just, pulling on the lines the whole time. And I was curious if they do the same thing for standardbreds on the track, because, otherwise you only have, like your whip and your lines and your voice. So are there voice aids that standardbreds know that might help those of us transitioning them to careers under saddle?
I have not noticed them reacting to your traditional draft cues of G and Hall. And that could be because they are driven single and you don't have the need to, have horses turning in tandem, that additional aid. Generally, they'll respond to walk on, they'll respond to whoa, they'll respond to a general clucking like you would a riding horse. Now, if you're getting a horse that has an Amish background, you might notice some more verbal cues, and they may also have been driven in tandem as well, which would lead them to have more need for that. But generally speaking, they have not had, those kind of verbal cues. And if you think about the speed when they're racing plus the earplugs, you're probably not going to get a chance to use that very often, since most of the time they've got those ear puffers in and they don't pop them until the end of the race for them to hear the horses coming up behind them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we'll have to ask you about that sometime, because that's like a whole other piece of equipment I was not aware of.
Yeah. We save the sound of the horses behind them until they get into the backstretch. Generally, they'll pop those earplugs out and they'll hear those horses and they'll want to go on a little bit faster.
So how does that work? Like, is it on like a string and the driver can oh my gosh, that's wild. Okay, now I want to go to the races just to look for that.
Yep, it runs down a line with the reins, and you'll see them walking back to the paddock after the race. The puffers will be hanging down to either side of their bridle, on either side of their face, and that's where they just got let out during the race.
That is
That's
wild.
so cool. I did not
Okay,
know
yeah, we have
that.
to look for that now. That's crazy. That makes so much sense though, that you wouldn't then also want to be hollering like G, as you're going flying down the backstretch and navigating traffic. That also makes sense too. I guess I never really thought about that with the draft horses, that would be an aid that you've installed specifically for when you're working a team, of 2 or 4 or more. Where you need them to kind of all figure it out without all of them getting a direct rein aid. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. You've like reverse engineered a good part of my past 10 years being like, I don't know why we do this, but we're doing it. So
yeah,
useful. I love it. Awesome. Well, Bridget, do you want to tell us about our adoptable horse this week? I know you guys have not been able to keep them in stock, which is a great problem to have.
I know. It's so wonderful that so many people want to adopt our thoroughbreds and our standardbreds. And of course, I'm going to highlight a standardbred. And he is Dreaming Dragon, who we call Puff for the Magic Dragon.
Oh, yes. That is perfect.
He is a son of Dragon again, who is one of my favorite sires. All of his offspring are beautiful and smart and very people oriented, and Puff is exactly that. He is like your own personal Black Beauty, and he has the tiniest ears you've ever seen on a standardbred. They're so small. And he is just precious under saddle. He has a really great go-getter attitude, and took to riding very quickly. He's a little guy for my people that have been wanting something a little bit smaller. He's right at 15 hands. So he's a little pocket pony, which is fantastic as well. And he has no known limitations. So he is ready for somebody to take him on his next adventure.
Oh, you're really tempting me, because I kind of am like, I'm feeling the itch for a project. I don't know why, but I'm like, ooh,
he's so
I want
cute.
A little dragon.
I know, but they are, like I said, I love the Dragon Agains. They're harder and harder to find, obviously, with Dragon Again having passed away, many years ago, but they do really just make the best all around horses. They're so smart.
Okay, this is good to know. And we're getting such like an advanced sneak peek of this horse that like we don't have a listing to look at yet. Although when this episode comes out, there probably will be a listing. And if you guys beat me to him, I will all be really mad at you. So everybody go ahead, take a look at the listing. We haven't seen him yet. So this is like a real like unveiling of, I just want to call him Puff the Magic Dragon now, but
yes.
Sleeping Dragon, was that what you
Dreaming
said?
Dragon.
Dreaming Dragon. Okay.
Yes.
I like that.
Super sneak peek.
I love this. And it's probably just as well that we can't see pictures of him right now, or I'd be like, nope, wait, stop the recording, because I'm going to just take this myself. So yeah, all you guys who have been wanting a standardbred, this sounds like the one. Bridget said, good all around, no limitations, ready to go.
Yes.
So yeah, we'll be in touch. Maybe. Well, Bridget, best of luck at the makeover. We will see you next week. Is there anything else going on at New Vocations that week that we should be looking out for?
Yes, we have an open house that Friday of the makeover, and during, from the beginning of the makeover through the 20th of October, we do have a $500 off any of the RRP 2025 eligible horses. And so if you're down for the makeover, you should check out our facility, because it's gorgeous, and the horses, because I know you're going to want to do the makeover if you're going for the first time to watch and you haven't participated before.
For sure. That is probably the most addictive show.
It's bad. I have too many horses now. Too many.
There you go. Well, Bridget, thank you so much. Best of luck next week. This week, this is so weird to be thinking in the future like this. But either way, we're super excited to see you. Yes. Very excited to see you represent New Vocations and Thoroughbreds at the makeover. And yeah, very excited. And remind folks where they can look to find adoptable horses as they do get listed.
Yes, at newvocations.org or horseadoption.com. They will both take you to the same place.
Standardbreds and thoroughbreds aplenty, people. Get those applications in. Thanks, Bridget.
Thank you.
You can enjoy your favorite equine videos all in one place with Ride TV, the ultimate equine streaming platform. The newly relaunched Ride TV has all the series you love, like mini horses and ridiculous ranches, plus top-tier training videos and event footage from Horse and Rider On Demand and barrelracing.com. Live the action, learn from the pros, love the stories. Subscribe to Ride TV today for only $19.99 to see where your ride takes you. Visit ridetvgo.tv to subscribe.
You can find our show notes and links to today's guests on the website at horseradionetwork.com. Like us on Facebook and Instagram. Just search for Retired Racehorse Radio. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. You can find me on Instagram at The Horseback Writer and on Facebook at Jobber Bill, Racehorse to Ranch Horse. My email is kristen@horseradionetwork.com.
You can find me on Instagram at Misfit Mare, and my email is joy@horseradionetwork.com. Thank you so much to our sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products, Cashel Company, Zero Proof Horse Streets. Remember that discount code is retired for all you skippers. And Ride TV, and our partners, New Vocations Racehorse Adoption Program and the Retired Racehorse Project. Don't forget to check out all the other shows on the Horse Radio Network, part of Equine Network, at horseradionetwork.com. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. And if you really want to be helpful, share on your social media our show, as it really helps us grow and keeps us bringing you all the off-the-track things you love. So remember to set your goals high and love to learn from every ride.
And always cowside leg.
See you at the makeover.